Hello friends, welcome to the next lecture of authentication where we will be seeing what are the different types of authentication. In the previous lectures we've seen what are the different requirements of authentication, what are the different functions which are being used by the authentication to meet all the requirements of the authentication, and now we will be looking forward wherein we will be learning what are the different types of authentication. Now, what are the means of users authentication, which also includes the different types of users authentication, which we can say that has been classified broadly into four parts. That is, the first one is something which the individual knows. The other is something which the individual possesses. Next is something that the individual is, that is the static biometrics. And the next is something the individual does, that is dynamic biometrics. So there are four general means of authenticating a user's identity, or we can say there are general four types of authentications which can be used alone or in combination to provide the authenticity of the users. Now, what is the authentication in which something that the individual knows? It includes the examples like a password, the personal identification number, or answers to be prepared for a set of questions. We can very well take the examples of your usernames, passwords, which you knows, which a particular individual only knows about what the password he or she has for the respected account. You guys must be having a different password for your Gmail account, for your Facebook account, for your Twitter accounts, which is only known by yourself. That is, it is only known by the individuals. And therefore, it is one type of the authentication which the only individual knows about itself. The next is something that the individual possesses. That means something which you have, like we can have the examples of the PAN cards, the debit cards, the credit cards which you have. You as an individual possesses it. You as the individual has the complete authenticity to use these cards, which then provides or which then specifies your identity as the authenticated user. So here we can consider them as the electronic key cards, the smart cards, the physical keys, the cryptographic keys, and so on. If I am an individual and if I have been given the Aadhaar card by the government of India, that means I am the authenticated Indian citizen of the India. And in the similar way, if you have been issued the driving licenses, if you have been issued the debit cards, the credit cards, that means those have been issued to you for your authenticity, for proving your identity once if you want to use them, or if you want to prove your identities, you can use any of these cards which you possesses, which are being issued to you by the proper authority centers who have been given the authority to issue such identity, to issue such authenticated identity for an individual. So you as the individual possesses these cards. So you as the individual possesses these authenticity. Then the next is something which the individual is, which very well includes the static biometrics, which is not changeable, like your retina, fingerprints, the face scanning, and all. These are the things which no one can easily change for any individual. So that is also one type of authentication which the individual can have, or which the individual can use for proving its identity. The next type of authentication is something that the individual does, that is dynamic biometrics, which includes examples like recognition of voice pattern, handwriting characteristics, and typic rhythms. So we can easily provide the authenticity by analyzing the handwriting or by recognizing the voice pattern which the individual speaks, or by the typing rhythms. Like any individual can be easily traced out by the using its own handwriting, where the handwriting experts can then analyze the way the individual is writing. And if you compare with a particular individual, then you can easily trace the identity of the individual. That means that individual then can be traced out depending upon the way he or she is writing, which then considered as a dynamic biometrics, which again can be considered as the type of authentication which is then used by the users for proving their own identity. So for network-based user authentication, the most important method involve cryptographic keys and something the individual knows, such as we can take the examples of the passwords. Another type of authentication is a one-way authentication, where if two communicating parties are exchanging some messages over the network, then either of the communicating party will be authenticating itself to the other party. It is not needed that the other party should also authenticate to the first party. So, one application for which the encryption is growing in population is the electronic mails, that is emails. Header of the email message must be in a clear so that the message can be handled by the store and forward via using the email protocols, that is SMTP protocols or X.400. These are the protocols which then helps for sending of the email by proving the one-way authentication. The email message should be encrypted such that the mail handling system is not in possession of the decryption key. The second requirement is that of the authentication, where the recipient wants some assurance that the message has been sent from the alleged sender. That means the recipient wants the authenticity of the users to be proven to prove its identity. Another type of authentication can be considered as the mutual authentication, wherein both the users, that means both the sender and the receiver, has to prove their identities. That is, protocols which enables communicating parties to satisfy themselves mutually about each other's identity and to exchange the secret keys and to exchange the session keys. Basically, these mutual authentication type of authentications are used whenever we want to have secure sessions, we want to have secured communication network over the channels, over the communicating networks to send and receive the data in between the sender and the receiver. So in these type of the authentications, the user has to prove its identity to the sender and the sender has to prove its identity to the receiver. And then only once they are satisfied that both are the authenticated users, then only they will share the session keys for the further communications amongst themselves. So central to the problem of authentication is the key exchange, that are two issues which can be considered as different issues, wherein we have to exchange the session keys for handling the sessions, for encrypting and decrypting of the messages with those session keys. So that can be divided into two broad issues, that is confidentiality and the timeliness. Essential identifications and the session keys information must be communicated in encrypted form. This requires the prior existence of secret or public keys that can be used for this purpose. As I told you that every individual or every communicating party has to authenticate himself or herself and therefore essential identification is very much required for the communicating parties, and that too in the encrypted format. Timeliness, it is important because there is a threat of the replay type of the attacks, that is the message replays. Such replays could allow an opponent to, compromise the session keys, which is successfully impersonate by the other party. They can easily disrupt operations by presenting parties with messages that appear genuine, but they are not. That the messages, they appear that they are being from the authenticated users or authenticated communicating parties, but they are not from the authenticated communicating parties, but they are from any illegal users. So, to handling these two issues, we have to have the mutual authentication in which both the parties should prove their identities to one another for having secure sessions and for sharing the session keys for the further communications in between themselves. These are some of the authentication applications where the different types of the authentications are used. Like in Kerberos, the mutual authentication is used. X.509 is type of the digital signature, where the digital signature type of the authentication is used. PKI is another type of authentication application, which is nothing but the public key infrastructure. Then comes the electronic mail security, which includes PGP, SMIME, which are nothing but the different email handling protocols. IP security, that is the Internet Protocol Security, Web Security, and the next one is SSL, TLS, and SEC. These are nothing but the different protocols which are being implemented at the different layers of the OSI to handle the security for the authentication. I just hope you guys might have understood the concept of what are the different types of authentications and when they are utilized depending upon what type of the authentication requirement is there. Thank you guys.